Hello and welcome. Thank you guys for joining me again for another night of Facebook Live. I also like to take time out to recognize those that catch the replay from YouTube and or SoundCloud. It is indeed a blessing to be here with you tonight, as tonight we're concluding our mini series on Untapped. We're concluding. So tonight is the last subtopic that we're talking about in the Untapped series. I do hope that this has been a blessing for you and that you have taken charge and accepted the challenge to grow, go through the steps of resolving the hidden issues in our life that are so difficult and so challenging sometimes just for us to look at and address it due to the stigmas and the traumas that are associated with those things that we continue to keep hidden in the closet. So as you guys are joining me tonight, go ahead and like and share this video. Go ahead and like and share this video. Let me see what I did here. Let's delete that. And feel free to send me a shout out to let me know that you are there. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Good evening to you, Shondell. It's good to see you tonight. We're finishing up our series, our mini series on Untapped. And so tonight, since we're at the end and we've been going through the steps of what it looks like to finally break free from the strongholds of the things that we continue to keep hidden and the things that are so hard for us to deal with, we want to talk about what is housed under all those things that we keep hidden. And so what we find is that when we begin to deal with the issues and resolve the traumatic experiences and really pick apart and address the issues that we keep hidden because there's so much shame, there's embarrassment, and there's trauma, there's pain, all associated with it. What we find is that when we begin to deal with those areas in our life, we have untapped faith, wisdom, strength, and courage. All that is hidden up under the things that we keep suppressed in our life. And until we deal with the issues that we have, it's hard to tap into that level of faith, wisdom, strength, and courage, because we 9 times out of 10 don't know it's there. And if we by chance know it's there, it's difficult to understand how we can tap into that. So tonight, I hope that you guys are encouraged and ready to dig in. I know that it's more than Shondell here on the screen with me. So if you guys would send me a shout out, let me know that you're there. Let me know that you're ready to dig in tonight. And go ahead and hit that like button and share this video. Levon, thanks for being here with me tonight. I see you have joined in as well. Nonetheless, guys, we know this week has not been easy. If you have been here with me every night, going through the steps of what it looks like to open the closet door and go in and begin to take apart some of those things in our life, we know that it has not been easy. Even for me, Crystal, I'm glad to have you. I miss you so much. I love you. And I hope that you and your family are doing well. We know that it has not been easy, guys. For me, my emotions have been all over the place. There have been some areas in my life that even after all I've dealt with and exposed, I finally realized that making the decision to do this mini series was so important, because there's so many other areas of my life that I have neglected to really take a look at and address it and expose it, so that I could really be free and delivered from those issues. And many of it just being here with you every night and sitting here talking about the hidden issues of my life has really been a help to me to know that you were willing to go through the process with me. And what I found is that even though I know that I have so much more to tap into and so much more to uncover and so much more to release from my life, I find now that I have strength that I never knew that I had. I now have found strength that I never knew I had. And part of that comes from you being here with me night after night and going through this process with me. So the different feelings that I've had associated with anger, associated with shame, being able to sit here and talk to you guys about the different levels of conflict that I have within myself, it has been so helpful. And this is what I want you guys to remember as you continue your journey on finding that deliverance that you seek for yourself, is because when we keep things hidden, we can't think that we're going to reach that next level, or we can't continue to think that our life is going to be any better by living in fear, living in the fear of knowing that we are abused every day, knowing that we are in relationships that we think that there's no way out of, knowing that we're thieves, knowing that we're murderers, knowing that we have secret hates, knowing that we have violations, our bodies have been violated and been traumatized and abused throughout the years, that we never address that, knowing that we have addictions and just all kind of secret unnatural affections that we fail to neglect. We don't want to look at those things. Those things are embarrassing, they're sinful, they're traumatizing. And some of us, we just have a hidden area of unforgiveness in our life because someone hurt us or someone did something to us, and maybe they're dead and gone on, and maybe we'll never get the affirmation from them because they've died and gone on, or maybe because they're dead and gone on, we finally got the peace or the imitation of peace that we feel like we need, but we never really address those issues and areas in our life. So whatever that looks like for you, I want you to know that I am here to support you in whatever it is. And if you missed the first half of the series, if you missed the steps, go back and rewatch the videos, subscribe to my YouTube channel, rewatch the videos and go through the steps, go at your pace. And that's the purpose of having it on video, so that you can go back and take a look and look at what it really looks like to be delivered from something. To be delivered in our lives, it's more than just saying I'm free or I'm delivered, because there are so many emotions and pains and so many relationships and things like that that we have tied to our places of trauma, which is the reason why we put it in the closet and bury it up with dirt. And we think the more dirt we put over it, that the better off that we are and that we're going to be. But nonetheless, when we fail to deal with issues, it still lives here. There's something about this brain that is so intelligent that even when we suppress things, even when we think that we over things, the things that we keep hidden show up in our behaviors. It shows up in our attitudes. It shows up in our relationships. It shows up in the decisions and things like that that we make. So we're only a lot of time fooling ourselves, because many other people who we're around, who spend any amount of time with us, they see it. They see it. They see it as it relates to our attitudes and behaviors and the conversations and stuff that we have. And oftentimes, it's what turns people away from us. It's what turns people off from us, because we have these unresolved issues and we wonder why we don't have more intimate relationships. We wonder why we don't attract more close friendships and things like that. And this is the reason why. Anything is hidden, it cannot be hid. Anything that's hidden, it cannot be resolved. Anything that's hidden, it cannot be healed. Don't you want the healing? Don't you deserve to live a life of freedom? Don't you deserve to live a life to where there's unspeakable joy and unspeakable peace and unspeakable love and being able to trust finally for once in your life without having to worry about looking in the rearview mirror of your life, wondering who's going to come knock you over the head, or who's going to come expose you, or who's going to come tell your secret. You know, we deserve that. We deserve abundant life. We deserve that true, authentic freedom in life that we are promised from our Creator. And many of us just hang on to hope of a promise that we never really tap into. I can just imagine going to a cemetery and looking out over the cemetery and all the people who had been placed there that never tapped in to their greatness. And it's all because of fear, shame, and embarrassment. I don't want to be one of those. I don't want to be one of those who leave this earth not living up to my full potential and reaching my highest level of success and greatness. And I don't want that for you either. You deserve to love who you are. You deserve to be who you are. And you deserve to appreciate all those things about you, the good, bad, and the ugly. Because we're all flawed one way or another. And I'm saying that just because you're flawed does not mean that you have to live a life of shame and embarrassment and looking in the rearview mirror. So I'm saying that when we deal with these issues in our life that we have untapped, that means we have not tapped into it. We don't want to look at it. It's shameful. It's a hurtful place. We're embarrassed by it. When we finally get to the place to where we take it one by one and go through the steps that I've shared with you throughout the past several days, when we do that, you will find that you have a level of faith. And I do mean authentic faith. That means when you believe it, you know that because you have addressed these issues, and because you're not ashamed, and because you no longer have those limitations placed upon you or imposed upon you through who you are, or through what you've done in your past, or through the things that have tried to label and identify you with, you'll find that you'll have a faith that you will begin to tap into that and realize that, you know, if I made it through all that and all those years of suppression and depression and anxiety behind this, if I made it through all that, I do know, and it is my hope that there is greatness in my future. And you know what, guys? It's not far ahead. It is not far ahead. The things that we desire the most, the things that we believe the most, the things that we're missing out on the most, it's closer to us than we think. It seems like our worlds are chaotic and falling apart. We talked about last night being naked and exposed, and the different emotions that come along with that. But guys, do you know, once you get over that feeling, and once you realize that your emotions can be deceiving, you tap into a level of faith like none other. And that means that once you know it and once you believe it for yourself, there is absolutely no stopping you. There is absolutely no, Pastor Pitts, how are you? Glad you're here with me tonight. There is absolutely no grounds that you know at that point that you cannot overtake. The whole world and the fullness, all of it is yours. You know that you can go get it. That is how strong of a faith that you'll begin to have once you tap into those areas of your life and not allow it to hold you back and to live in the fear of being exposed or being labeled or being ashamed. So nonetheless, also, hey Amy, how are you, baby? I'm glad to see you here with me tonight as well. I miss you so much. Also, guys, wisdom. Going through the process of being delivered from the skeletons in our closet and really dealing with the intimate areas of our life that we have not tapped into gives us a level of wisdom. That wisdom which no one else could possibly understand. It is a wisdom to where you're now, instead of having these issues between you and your creator, you're able to tap into that next level. It's like a sixth sense. You know, you hear people sometimes talk about that sixth sense, that wisdom. It's because of the connection that you have. You know, when our secrets, when we're busy trying to keep them in the closet and continue trying to keep it hid, and when we're ashamed of who we are and who our creator has created us to be, and when we're ashamed of the blueprints of our life, you know, it creates a barrier between our heart and our creator. And so it's because our mind, because we want to suppress things and keep things hidden and not be exposed, we also begin to put the limitations on our creator. And so we don't fully tap into that level of that depth of wisdom that we could potentially reach. So once we begin to tap into that, then you will begin to have wisdom that is like none other. Guys, I cannot explain it. I cannot explain the level of wisdom that I had before this process, but certainly after going through this process and beginning to take things out of my closet one by one and not being ashamed of the blueprints of my life and not being ashamed of being exposed or had my secrets being told or having my past show up at my door, the level of wisdom, the relationship, the intimacy that I have with my creator has heightened so much more. I just can't explain it. And who knew that under all that I continue to keep hidden day after day and year after year, who knew that level of wisdom was lying right there all along? All along we possess these things, but when we limit ourselves through fear, when we limit ourselves through embarrassment of shame or sin, it limits that level of wisdom that we're able to tap into. Shondell says, just because you're flawed does not mean that you have to live in shame. That's correct, Shondell. But so many of us women, we do. We're flawed, and instead of dealing with it and accepting it and affirming ourselves and just embracing the areas of where we flawed, we continue to try to hide. And it's shameful for us. And I think a lot of it is because over the years, our relationships as women has been so tarnished and tainted through jealousy and criticism and being judgmental of one another and critical of one another, that we fail to realize that we only do those things when we're trying to cover up ourselves. We only impose those kinds of hurt and inflictions upon other women when we have those issues ourselves that we have neglected to deal with. And so when we realize that, hey, Linda, how are you? I'm glad you're here with me tonight. When we realize that hurting people hurt people, then we will not take things so personal. And this is where that wisdom comes in at, is that, you know, many times when we're inflicted with these critical issues from other women, we want to go and hide, and it's easier to hide and live in that shame or the embarrassment of being flawed rather than just saying, I'm not going to take it personal. But if a woman feels like she's validated by hurting me, it's only because she's hurting. So I'm not going to take that personal. What I'll do is maybe distance myself in a way, but I'm going to pray for her, or I'm going to keep her lifted so that she too can find her deliverance. She too needs to be delivered. And this is where we have to have that level of support and love and compassion for one another. Because most women, all they know is hurt. They've experienced so much hurt and trauma throughout their lives. All they know is hurt. And so they inflict that hurt upon other people through their conversations, through their criticisms, through their shame, whatever it is. And so they hide behind the face of being critical. But deep down, we know when we really look at the women who are bitter, when we really look at the women who are angry, when we really look at the women that do not have any good relationships, they're pretending to be okay. And it's manifested through all this anger, bitterness, and criticism, because they have untapped issues that they have not dealt with. So that's the way it manifests itself. So I'm telling you, as I sit here today, I'm flawed. Even after all the work that I have done and all the work that I have goals and plans to do, I'm still flawed. I still have issues in me that I have yet to untap. And it's going to take time. It's going to take time, because as I go through each level and as I begin to pull the things out of my closet, I have to sit and look at it and deal with it. I have to feel the emotion. I have to get to the place and go through the steps of that grief and get in a place to where I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it looking like this, and I'm okay with going through the steps and talking about it and exposing it, so it no longer has a hold on me. So it no longer has the effect on me. And that I then can take another step toward my greatness, because this is what it's going to take. It's going to take that and every bit of it. That's what I did, embrace my mess and made a message of it. Yes, Shondell, and that's purpose. That's where we get to, and that's when we know we have reached our purpose. That's when we know our purpose. The blueprints of our life, no matter what they look like, has purpose. And this is the place where many of us, and I said when I imagine the graveyard and going out there and looking into the graveyard, many people died never tapping into their purpose. You don't, well, maybe you do. Some of you guys really may not understand how many women you encounter from day to day that really don't know what their purpose is. They don't know what their purpose in life is. I know my purpose is to sit here and educate, empower, and encourage. So that's my purpose. And whatever that looks like, wherever I am, whoever I'm around, this is my goal. This is what I do. This is who I am. There is no way to hide that. So how can I educate you, empower you, encourage you, unless I go through the steps myself and learning what it looks like to be set free, learning what it looks like to totally accept who you are, learning what it looks like to take the blueprints of your life and apply it into those areas to where it hits us hardest and where it keeps so many of us suppressed and depressed. That how can I teach you these things unless I'm willing to do it myself? So the blueprints of my life have laid that out. It's laid it out in a way that if I have to sit here and expose myself so that you can be healed and so that you can overcome and so that you can come to affirm yourself and so that you can overcome the labels and so that you can recreate your own identity. If I have to do that, then so be it. I'm living my purpose. And whatever that looks like, I'm not ashamed, and I'm okay with it all. So if that means if I have to sit here and do a live, if that means I have to go and recreate a t-shirt, if that means I have to go and write another book, whatever that looks like, I'm doing it because you matter to me. You are a part of my purpose. You are part of the reason I do what I do, because you deserve to have someone to say that it's okay without being critical, without being judgmental, without trying to inflict pain upon you, without trying to control you, without trying to manipulate you, or without trying to just have you imitate a few words saying that you're okay when we really hadn't sat down to go through the process together to really make sure that you're okay. So it's time for us women to really look at, the blueprints of our life. It is what it is. So what? So what? Who cares if that happened to you? Who cares if that is what you did or what you do, or if that hurt you or whatever? If somebody uses that in your life to hurt you or to impose hurt upon you or to re-inflict that pain upon you, shame on them. You matter enough that you ought to want to break free. You ought to want to expose it so that it no longer has the control on you that it has had on you for years. So we have that untapped faith. We have that untapped wisdom. And I guess what I'm talking about now is that strength. When you get to the point to where you can say, so what? Or who cares if so-and-so knows that this happened to me? This is my story. And me addressing my story and me telling my story is going to help so many more people. And so you get that strength. You get that strength by knowing that you've helped somebody else overcome an area in their life that has kept them suppressed for years. So then when they die and somebody bury them, they don't have to be remembered for the anger or for the discord or for the bitterness or for the unforgiveness that they harvest in their heart so many years. And then they die, and they die with that, never resolving the issues and never really fully living their purpose and never really tapping into their greatness in life. Because we can't get to the next level doing the same thing with the same mindset and taking on that identity of what happened to us or who we are or what we've done. We have to recreate all of that. We must know that we are, regardless of what we've been through, we are purposed and valued by our Creator. We must know that. We must know that the things that we do, the things that we have done, the things that have happened to us does not, it's not who we identify with. It doesn't dictate who we are or the levels in life that we can accomplish. It does not. So we have untapped strength that, it's just hidden, waiting to burst out. And then it comes to courage. Did you know that every time that you take something out of your closet and you begin to look at it and you begin to sit in it and you begin to feel that emotion and you step out on that fear and you take the risk, do you know you're building courage? You're building courage. And it's helpful to have a support group to help take these steps with you. But not only all the time we have that. Sometimes it's just us. And that's why it's so important to have a journal and to be able to write these things down. Even just writing it down and see it on paper sometimes takes courage. It takes courage. Sometimes it's more fearful for us to look at it than it is for us to tell it and somebody else knows it. So we have that untapped courage just waiting to burst free and set us free, guys, hidden up under all the things that we continue to keep in our closet. Irma, I'm glad you're here with me tonight and hope you are feeling so much better, but my thoughts and my prayers are with you. See, you are so right. The graveyards are so full of unfinished stories. Absolutely. Guys, we don't have to be one of those unfinished stories sitting in the graveyard. Absolutely not. As long as I have breath in my body, I will do what I have been purposed in life to do. And for many of us, it looks different. I don't expect anybody to do what I do because this is my purpose. We don't need an imitation of Anntricia Bray Smith. We need you to be who you are purposed and destined to be. And only you know that. And if you don't know what your purpose is, it's hidden under the issues in your closet that you've failed to, or that you hadn't had to guidance on tapping into. I promise you that we all have purpose. And if whatever your purpose is, you don't have to compare it to any other woman in this world. You know, we don't need imitations of trying to do it like somebody else. Just do it like you. Just do it like you. You are going to reach and you're going to make a difference. You're going to influence those who God has purpose for you to reach and influence. I promise you that. Each of our lives have purpose. Let's see, my friend has a purpose. Love her. Yes. So Rose Marie King, is that the one that's been going through? Amy, the one we've been praying with you for, is that she? And I do hope that she is doing well and healing. I do hope that. Keisha, thanks for joining me tonight. I'm glad that you made it here with me tonight. Guys, I must wrap this up. I did not want to hold us long here tonight. And I just want you to know that, you have untapped faith, you have untapped wisdom, you have untapped strength, you have untapped courage that is just waiting to manifest in your life. And all you have to do is be willing to go through the steps and get the deliverance that you seek so that you can take the limitations off of your own thoughts and mind, and so that you can also take those limitations off of your creator. We're worth it. You're worth it. We're worth it, okay? We are. And I love each of you guys. I hope that this series has been helpful for you. Tonight is the end of our Untapped series. Feel free to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you can go back and catch those videos in this Untapped series on demand, so that you can go through the process, because you may get stuck in one area, but you don't have to stay there. You know, you do not have to stay there. Go through the steps, learning what it is to have untapped issues, learning what lies underneath it all, learning how to look back and what the look back at your issues look like, learning what our untapped issues do to us, the way it hurts us, hijacks us, and hold us hostage, learning what it is to find that someone that we can trust, even though that we know that it's not going to be easy, learning what the vulnerability, the moments of vulnerability looks like, when we're naked and exposed, when we finally come to terms with what those issues are, and sitting in those emotions and not giving into going back to that familiar place. But even though we're naked and exposed, being okay with being naked and exposed, and what it finally looks like to be healed, finally looks like to be healed in this, when we tap into those areas of faith, wisdom, and courage that we all have. All right, guys, I do appreciate you joining me tonight. I'll be right back here tomorrow night at 10 p.m. for another night of Facebook Live. I am your host, Anntricia Bray Smith, author, educator, and public speaker. Good night, everybody.